One, two, three, four. Hello and welcome to Fitcom India's podcast. And today we have Pushkaraj. Now, Pushkaraj is somebody I admire क्योंकि पुष्कराज की एक बहुत अच्छी क्वालिटी है दैट ही इज वेरी आउटस्पोकन, ही इज fearless, स्पेशली ऑन सोशल मीडिया जहाँ पे ज्यादातर लोग अपनी फीलिंग्स को एक्सप्रेस नहीं करते, इंक्लूडिंग माई सेल्फ. और ही इज अ पॉलीमैथ. पॉलीमैथ का मतलब जो कि बहुत सारी चीजों में एक साथ मल्टीपली टैलेंटेड होते हैं, वर्सटाइल होते हैं, एंड ही इज वन ऑफ दोज गाइज हु इज वेरी टैलेंटेड. चाहे वो फिटनेस हो, न्यूट्रिशन हो, फोटोग्राफी हो, मतलब क्रिएटिव एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द ब्रेन. He is doing all the things at the same time and very well. So, welcome to the show, Pushkaraj. And
Thank you, Nishan.
how are you doing?
Very well, very well.
Nice. So, अभी सबसे पहली चीज, किसी भी बंदे से जब मैं पूछता हूँ, जब वो आते हैं इस पॉडकास्ट में, वो कि फिटनेस उनकी लाइफ में किस तरीके से एंटर हुआ, व्हाट वाज योर रीजन टू become a fitness professional where you could have chosen? You were already into advertisement and you were doing pretty good. You were in the States at that time, what I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, fitness as a career happened as an accident. Fitness as a passion was always there. I was a very weak kid, very tiny kid who had osteoporosis, but that time it was not diagnosed yet. I just used to have a lot of fractures, and that's how I got into fitness because I wanted to be stronger, fitter, bigger, faster. So that's how fitness happened. And then while consulting a bunch of fitness brands, I came across K11 and I love learning. So I decided why not do their courses. So while brand consulting K11, I ended up doing all the courses that were available there
Acha.
just out of wanting to learn. I had no agenda. I did not want to turn it into a career, nothing.
Acha.
Even after doing my courses for about a year and a half, I did not consult a single client. I did not train a single person. I just focused on myself and my own training, transforming my own body and my own physique. And I
Right.
loved what I got out of it. Like
Ah.
this really worked. And then I consulted a few friends and stuff. And then I realized when you consult for free, it does not have value. So I started charging a very small amount.
Hmm.
And that's how it sort of then became a career because then from friends to a bigger circle to eventually celebrities, actors, athletes, National Gymnastics Association,
Fantastic.
Olympians, now combat sport athletes, the top pro fighters in India. And yeah, it's been going on. And now it has turned into a career for me, like a full-time career. And that's how Project Battlefit was born.
Yeah.
Project Battlefit was initially a personal project to build myself
Right.
to be battle worthy. And now it's like something I do professionally, building combat athletes to battlefit levels. Yeah.
Fantastic. जबरदस्त. तो अच्छा, अब ये जो मतलब जर्नी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग भी रही है, वेर यू डिड नॉट वांट टू परस्यू फिटनेस एज अ करियर. तो इतनी सारी चीजें, मतलब जहाँ पे एडवर्टीजमेंट था, क्रिएटिव एस्पेक्ट था, फोटोग्राफी था, फिर फिटनेस भी आ गया. तो हाउ डिड यू थिंक ऑफ बैलेंसिंग ऑल दीज थिंग्स एट द सेम टाइम?
Honestly, I'm still not balancing it.
हाँ.
It's all out of balance, but I'm doing it because I love it. And that's it. Like
अच्छा.
I have raccoon eyes every other day because my sleep cycle is messed up. But then, yeah, I love training, so I train. I
Right.
love teaching, so I teach. I love photography, so I do photography. And I'm consulting a few brands on the side as a brand consultant.
Right.
And directing ad films as and when they come. So that's life.
So
And I'm enjoying it. That's it.
जब लोग पूछते हैं कि कोई भी रैंडम आदमी अगर पूछता है तो पुष्कर, व्हाट डू यू डू, व्हाट डू यू से, व्हाट डू आई डू?
Try to stay alive.
ओके ओके, दैट्स नाइस, दैट्स नाइस. ये जो हमारा सोशल मीडिया का जो एस्पेक्ट है, जो कि आज के डेट में ऑब्वियसली सोशल मीडिया एक टूल की तरह भी है, सोशल मीडिया इज बून बेन, दोनों चीजें हैं. व्हेन यू express yourself, it's very clear, it's on the face. कोई इसको रूड भी बोल सकता है, कोई एरोगेंस बोल सकता है. मैं पर्सनली बहुत एडमायर करता हूँ बिकॉज आई रियली वांट टू बी एक्सप्रेसिंग माई सेल्फ मोर इन लाइफ ऑल्सो. सोशल मीडिया तो चलो थोड़ा बात का एस्पेक्ट है. हाउ डू यू मैनेज टू एक्सप्रेस योर थॉट्स fearlessly? बिकॉज fearlessly इसलिए बिकॉज a lot of trolling happens. A lot of people, tend to do things, they say things, कुछ कुछ कह देना, पीठ पीछे भी कह देना, या कुछ ही ग्रुप में कुछ कह देना. हाउ डू यू मैनेज दिस थिंग, fearlessness जो है, boldness एक्चुअली रादर, वो कैसे, हाउ हाउ डू यू डू दैट, और इसका क्या इम्प्लीकेशन रहा है? आई मीन, ऐसा कभी कुछ रहा है कि वो सिचुएशन आई हो जहाँ पे जस्ट बिकॉज यू वर सो आउटस्पोकन यू गॉट इनटू ट्रबल?
So yeah, it's not always easy, but it is how I am, and I don't want to change that because it takes a long time to own up to being yourself and being yourself the way you are with
बिल्कुल.
no regrets.
राइट.
Obviously, with time, you learn the difference between honesty and brutal honesty. Brutal honesty is not a good thing. You need to be honest and you need to be clear, but without unnecessarily harming people's sentiments.
राइट.
And it works as a boon and it works as a curse in equal measure. I have developed long-term relationships with certain clients because of my upfront nature, and I've lost clients because of my upfront nature. Some people don't like the bitter pill. Some people love the fact that at least somebody gives them the bitter pill when nobody dares to. Right? I will not name a client, but then this client was surrounded by people who just say, "Oh wow, sir! Oh brilliant, brilliant! Arey wow, kya baat hai, sir!" And on a certain thing, I had a viewpoint that everybody was afraid to say it, and I just said it as it, like, this is what it is. And everybody just shut down in the meeting. I'm like, oh, Gaya, this client has gone out of hand. But that one incident sort of actually built the rapport we have even today, because he knows for a fact that I don't give a shit whether he fires me or keeps me on board as a consultant. I will always tell him what I actually feel without mincing any words. And that matters. Like, when you build a relationship to a point where this honesty does not come from malice and comes from a point of actual opinion and concern, you also learn to digest it and take it well.
बिल्कुल.
And yeah, with time you develop those kind of relationships, and at the end of the day, for me, those are the relationships that matter. I don't give a rat's ass about what a million people think of me. I care about what my circle and the people that add value to my life and my career feel or think about what I am putting out there. And that's it. That's whom I address. That's whom I'm talking to. That's whom I care about. And that's where the concern for my opinion ends.
पर सो आई मीन, या, ये बहुत जबरदस्त चीज है, बिकॉज टू बी योर सेल्फ एंड टू ओन, इनफैक्ट मुझे लगता है कि एक्सेप्टेंस एक ऐसी चीज है जो कि हम सब लोग बहुत लाइफ बीत जाने के बाद समझ में आता है, यार ये हमें एक्सेप्ट कर लेना चाहिए था अपने आप, हम जैसे थे. वो एक परत अंदर छुपी हुई सी रहती है बहुत लंबे वक्त तक. सो यू हैव रियलाइज दैट इट्स अ वेरी वेरी गुड थिंग, एंड देन एक्सप्रेसिंग योरसेल्फ दैट वे इज इवन बेटर, विदाउट थिंकिंग कि अभी कोई क्या सोच रहा है और मैं क्या कैसा पोर्ट्रे किया जाऊंगा. बिकॉज मुझे मुझे पर्सनली ऐसा लगता है कि ज्यादातर लोग अच्छा ही सोचते होंगे, ऑब्वियसली दोज हु आर देयर इन योर लाइफ, बट या इट्स गुड टू नो. और देन आई मीन, ऑफ कोर्स मार्शल आर्ट्स, इसका कोई डेफिनेटली इसका भी रोल होगा, व्हेन इट कम्स टू बीइंग अ लिटिल मोर बोल्ड इन द अप्रोच. ज्यादातर लोगों के कंपैरिजन में मार्शल आर्ट्स ने एक, मेरे को लगता है, एक वैसा एस्पेक्ट भी दिया होगा जहाँ पे यू फील लिटिल मोर कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट योरसेल्फ. इज इट?
Not really. So I am not a violent person.
राइट.
I mainly use my martial arts to deal with my ADHD. It's a good outlet for my energy. It's a good outlet for all the excess energy rather that I have.
इंटरेस्टिंग.
And yeah, the reason I like martial arts is because it allows me to feel that I'm capable, or rather actually be capable of handling myself in an untoward scenario and protect the people that I care about and love if the need ever arises. Like when I'm traveling solo cross country and stuff, you can't always rely on somebody being there to protect you. You have to be your first line of defense.
बिल्कुल
Like if
सही.
you're going to travel on a bike across India, you never know whom you're coming across. You never know which idiot you're going to end up in a road rage fight with, who's trying to come out of their car and smash you, or what shit is going to
तो
happen. You
ऐसा
always have to be prepared.
ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है कभी?
Yeah, two, three incidents.
अच्छा.
Yeah, in Bangalore, three rickshawalas tried to mug me, and then while riding across India, one guy got angry overtook me, parked his car in front of my bike,
अच्छा.
and tried to get out and hit me, and stupid stuff like that. But yeah, it happens, and then you deal with it, and then you also learn, like, when you are capable of handling violence, you don't react in an insecure way. You don't escalate a situation unnecessarily. You
Hmm.
know, you're confident. You know how to de-escalate it, and like, you know what, भाई रहने दे, ठीक है यार, तू बड़ा, तू great, हाँ यार, तू मारेगा, मैं पिट जाऊंगा यार, please, okay, चल, let's move on.
Um,
I don't need to hit him to show him I'm a better fighter or anything like that. Like, at the end of the day, in a street scenario, if you're getting into a fight, you're already at the losing end.
so
Something somewhere it has to be lost, whether it's time, whether it's blood, whether it's something precious or worse.
सही बात है. Absolutely. That's extremely good what you have just said because कुछ तो lose होगा ही होगा इन सब चीजों में.
Yep.
Yeah, it is very 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 wise words. Yeah, ये तो हम इसको quotation कर देंगे.
Yeah.
We'll do
It's
that.
like this. It's like this. If you're a trained fighter and you get into a fight
हाँ.
on the street,
ठीक.
and this actually happened once, okay?
हाँ.
तो ग्रुप में कोई तो फाइट को बढ़ावा दे रहा था,
हम्म.
and the person fighting with us, there were two of us, and a group of friends, two of us who know to fight, and a group of friends who do not know how to fight. But the people who do not know how to fight were escalating the scenario.
अच्छा.
And the person fighting with us was standing at the edge of a subway staircase.
अच्छा, मतलब ये इंडिया की बात है.
India, yeah. Accidentally,
हाँ.
had I even kicked that person, okay,
हिंदी.
say it turns into a fight, I kick, और मैंने उसको लात मार दी accidentally, as a first move,
ठीक है.
he would have probably fallen down that stairs. Maybe he breaks his head. Maybe he goes into coma. Maybe he never wakes up. Worst case scenario. What happens?
Right.
All these group of friends who are escalating the scenario go out scot free. I end up in jail.
सही बात है.
Right? So, मेरे लिए the more sensible thing to do is de-escalate the scenario. Say, हाँ भाई, ठीक है, लग गया, sorry बोल, निकल जा, चल, bye. And
हाँ.
that's it. At the most, you'll not say sorry. Chuck it. यार, धक्का ही लगा है ना. What's the big deal?
हाँ. हाँ.
Yeah. When it gets into something more grave or something more serious, when somebody's trying to mug you with bad intentions,
हाँ.
तब तुम्हें एक्शन लेना ही पड़ता है.
बिल्कुल. बिल्कुल.
अगर कोई तुम्हारे साथ जो लड़की है उसको छेड़ रहा है, then you cannot keep quiet. Then you have to react.
Yes.
और फिर ऐसे रिएक्ट करो कि तुम भी सेफ बचो.
हाँ.
Get into that altercation. Get out as soon as you can. Don't linger there. Don't be overconfident. किसी के मुंह पे बॉटल फोड़ दिया है तो बॉटल फोड़ के निकल लो.
निकल लो.
रुको मत अगला उसके 4-5 दोस्त आने तक या कोई कॉप्स आने तक या कोई इंटरवीन करने तक.
हाँ, मतलब वो संजय दत्त वाला सिनेरियो करते हैं ना, जिसने पहले हाथ उठाया उसको मैं जान से मार दूंगा, बाकी तुम. हाँ, कोई नहीं आता. तो ऐसा रियल लाइफ में होता नहीं.
Exactly.
Actually,
Just react and get out.
हाँ, गुड़गांव जैसी जगह पे तो बिल्कुल नहीं होता, जहाँ पे तैयार रहता है हर कोई निकाल के. एनीवे.
Safety first.
हाँ हाँ, एब्सोल्युटली. सो ये एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग, ये एक चीज मुझे बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली मैं अपने थॉट प्रोसेस से जब सोचता था, मुझे लगता था कि कोई भी आदमी मार्शल आर्ट्स में क्यों जाता है. पहला, एक तो उसके अंदर किसी भी तरीके का डर है, इनसिक्योरिटी है, और वो चाहता है कि वो बाहर निकल जाए. तो मेरे को लगता था कि ज्यादातर लोगों का पर्सपेक्टिव यही है. नाउ दैट यू आर सेइंग कि यू जस्ट वांटेड टू come over the ADHD thing and you went into martial arts. This is very interesting for me to know personally. मुझे actually ये लग रहा था that you went into it because of some reason, you know, XYZ, not the ADHD. ये तो दिमाग में ही नहीं था मेरे कि ऐसा हो सकता है. But very interesting. So इसकी शुरुआत कब से हुई मार्शल आर्ट की?
So I officially started training in martial arts from age 33. Very, very late.
Right. Okay.
But in school, I was doing judo. I did taekwondo for a bit. I did karate for a bit.
Okay.
And I was always did cardio kickboxing just for fun when I was training weightlifting and everything. But that was about it. Whole hog getting into Krav Maga, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, that happened post age 33.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Again, because इतने में तो लोग सोचते हैं कि अब तो हो गया, अब तो क्या ही ये वाली फीलिंग होती है ज्यादातर लोगों के अंदर. बट अ ट्रू लर्नर, ट्रू लर्निंग इट नेवर स्टॉप्स. एज का तो कोई फैक्टर है भी नहीं. सो स्कूल टाइम में इट वाज जस्ट आउट ऑफ फन and then later
Yeah.
on, so ये मतलब you chose martial art as a means only कि ADHD से overcome करना, या कुछ और भी था साथ में इसके?
Then I always enjoyed it, and then I realized it's a great outlet for all that excess energy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not like this is my therapy and I will do it. I just realized that yeah, it helps me channel a lot of my excess energy in a good way, so I'm going to use it.
So ये कभी मतलब दिमाग में नहीं आया, because you must have at that time diagnosed that you have osteoporosis and this might hinder your learnings and all that.
Yeah,
दिमाग में नहीं
and
आया?
so that's why I did not start MMA quite early. I got
हाँ,
into it very late because I always had osteoporosis. I had 16 fractures before age 25.
वो कैसे?
So that's how osteoporosis.
नहीं नहीं, मतलब फ्रैक्चर इन व्हाट सेंस कि कभी खेल में?
Falls, anything, even very stupid shit. Like while running, I hit a divider very hard and I fall, I break a rib. It's like
अच्छा.
that. It was
ओ,
that bad. So then I got into powerlifting to increase my bone density. And that's how the whole K11 and powerlifting journey started. And once my bone density was at a relatively decent level where it wouldn't be like even if I fall, I'll fracture myself, then
हाँ.
I got into combat sports.
So हर
But
चीज.
even now, it's not that great. Currently, my bone density is that of a 64-year-old man. So, sensibly speaking, I shouldn't be technically doing a lot of combat sports. So,
ओ,
I avoid a lot of striking sparring. I stick to more grappling.
अच्छा.
I avoid judo throws much. I avoid throws and slams as much as I can.
राइट.
And yeah, I train on things that I can work with, and I keep going with that. That's it. I've adapted my entire fighting style to what my body can deal with and recover from, and that's about it.
जबरदस्त, क्योंकि इस चीज को बहुत फाइन बैलेंस के साथ समझना भी बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज ओवर एंथुसियाज्म के अंदर बहुत सारी चीजें हो जाती हैं,
Yeah,
गलत डिसीजंस हो जाते हैं कभी कभी. एंड व्हाट यू हैव डन विद दैट इज सुपर्ब. क्योंकि द वे, बिकॉज मैं सोशल मीडिया आई रेगुलरली फॉलो एंड लुक ऑल योर स्टफ, तो उसमें डेफिनेटली मैं देखता हूँ वही गैपलिंग, और लेटेस्ट मैंने गिलेटिन और चोक और ये सारी चीजें देखी थी. सो ये सब चीजें करना आसान है कंपेरेटिवली, दैट वे व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, स्पारिंग और इन सबसे
it,
ज्यादा.
आसान नहीं है. The direct impact on the bones is lesser,
ओके, लाइक
right? Like
समबडी.
if I go into striking,
हाँ.
say if I go into Muay Thai and I spar,
राइट.
okay. For me, the risk to rewards ratio is very low,
हम्म.
right? The chances of me ending up with a skull fracture, neck fracture, or fractured hands or fractured ribs is way higher in striking than it is in grappling.
हाँ.
Also in grappling, if I get into judos and wrestling based stuff, which is more throws and more like blunt force trauma,
हाँ.
chances of fractures are higher. So I stick to gaining control, controlling, keeping the person close, and then submitting from there. So which is basically jiu-jitsu. So I am very jiu-jitsu dominant, which is why most of my posts are based in jiu-jitsu. Not that I do not strike. So if you want to learn self-defense, you cannot do only jiu-jitsu without a base in striking. You need to have your basics in striking very clear, because at the end of the day, your hands and legs are weapons, and if you're not learning to use them, what's the point,
तो
right?
इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर कोई जुजित्सु सीखता है फॉर इंस्टेंस, उसमें उसको स्ट्राइकिंग नहीं सिखाई जाती ट्रेडिशनली, या फिर अब
Yeah.
ऐसा हो रहा है अब ऐसा?
No, so that is what it is. So jiu-jitsu does not have striking. As a rule set, it does not have striking at all. It's only pure grappling. Okay.
ठीक.
But now when I teach at the Battlefield Combat Academy, because my focus is self-defense, I make it a point that at least one session a week is striking and self-defense based stuff. So
राइट.
even though we are doing the typical sport combat jiu-jitsu stuff and the street self-defense jiu-jitsu stuff, which is the from the greasy combatives, which is the pure functional foundation of jiu-jitsu, we
हाँ.
also do a bunch of striking and strikes and open palm strikes, elbows,
सो
how to
बेसिक,
do basic grip breaks and all of that.
तो इन सब में सबसे अच्छा अगर वैसे पूछा जाए कि अगर किसी को सेल्फ डिफेंस सीखना है फॉर इंस्टेंस, सो और उसको समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि उसको क्या सीखना है, लेट्स से, और देयर इज अ कंफ्यूजन in, let's say, understanding the scenario. ज्यादातर लोग self defense इसीलिए सीखने जाते हैं because they want to be sure of themselves when they are out on the street. किस martial art को would you, if you counsel them, what martial art would you suggest?
So if you have a great coach, okay,
Hmm.
then Krav Maga is the fastest to learn and execute.
ठीक है.
Okay, but most Krav Maga classes are run like choreographed classes nowadays.
Hmm.
Okay, so the actual learning from that is pretty low. What you can
Hmm.
actually apply from it in a real fight scenario is very low. But there are good coaches coming up. There are good coaches across the world, and if you can get access to them, great.
Hmm.
Apart from that, I think Jiu-Jitsu with a basic foundation of Muay Thai is brilliant. Okay, Jiu-Jitsu because it allows you to combat violence in a socially acceptable manner. Your reaction is not always break, 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 and get out.
सही
Your
बात है.
reaction is very controlled, especially for bullying scenarios. So if you ask me for self-defense against bullying, there's
Hmm.
nothing better than Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, but if you go onto the streets and you go only with Jiu-Jitsu without any foundation or any base in striking, you're probably at a major disadvantage. Right? Not that Jiu-Jitsu will not work on the street. It works phenomenally well. It's been proven over and over again. But you can't take every fight to the ground, especially when you're fighting multiple opponents. So you
हाँ.
need to have at least your basic stand-up skills in place. Just in
हाँ.
case I need to knock two, three people, kick one person, run out of that place, throw a bottle, whatever, I should be able to do that as well.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
So Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai together as a little
पर
combo
पर
works
मतलब
perfectly for self-defense.
अगर मैं इसको ऐसे देखूं, जैसे जिजित्सु है या फिर मुआय थाई है, फॉर इंस्टेंस, ये ट्रेडिशनल स्टफ है जिसको मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि एक मार्शल आर्ट सीखना है अपने आप में और उसमें बिल्कुल सॉलिड होना है, इट विल टेक इयर्स एंड इयर्स. इसको
Yeah.
कॉम्पिटिशन में लाने के लिए क्या है, मतलब कोई एकेडमी होती है जो करती है ऐसा, या कोई कोच होता है
So,
जो करता है? हाउ इज इट, हाउ डज इट गो?
so one, you need to be clear to your coach about what you're training for. Okay, like you join an MMA school, they will
राइट.
teach you both Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. So today there is no MMA without Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai.
हम्म.
Okay, but then be clear whether you are learning it for competing or you're learning it for self-defense. And good coaches will always then accordingly teach you what you need to learn. Like when I went to my coach and I told them my entire reason of learning this is self-defense. So I started with a completely different set of priorities of what I need to learn first. Right? If I'm learning for competition, there are certain things I don't need to learn, or rather, I do not focus on much. But if I'm learning for self-defense, there are certain things I need to be very clear of. And yeah, that's what you need to focus on learning. For example, an arm triangle is a choke that is not very effective for a self-defense scenario.
Okay.
In the cage, in jiu-jitsu, in a competition, it's very effective. But in a self-defense scenario, it's not very effective because you're leaving one hand of your opponent always free. And if that happens on the street and he has access to a rock, that rock is going to be at the back of your skull. Where in MMA, it's technically illegal to hit at the back of your skull. But on the street, there's nothing illegal against picking up a rock and putting it at the back of your head. And your opponent will most likely do that. So you're leaving one arm free. So it's a very risky move in a self-defense
तो
scenario.
जीत कुंदो और क्राव मागा या फिर मुआय थाई, बीजेजे, इन सब में क्या डिफरेंस है, मतलब दैट वे?
So Jeet Kune Do and Krav Maga are actually self-defense techniques that are like your 21 question sets. You know, school में वो books आते थे 21 question sets. Most likely questions you'll get in your exam. So basically, instead of reading the entire syllabus, you read 21 question sets and you're good enough to pass the exam.
Right.
Jeet Kune Do and Krav Maga are exactly that. They take the most effective, proven techniques from a bunch of different martial arts and teach them to you in the shortest time possible.
ठीक है. Okay.
Right? It's like I would take 4 years to do mastery in a certain thing, or 4 to 8 years to do like, I wouldn't even call it mastery, to be really skilled at something in one form, say Jiu-Jitsu or say Muay Thai. Right? What Krav Maga does is it picks 5-6 moves which are high percentage moves from Jiu-Jitsu, takes 5-6 moves from Muay Thai which are high percentage moves from Muay Thai, takes 2-3 moves from catch wrestling which are high percentage or very easy to learn or highly effective moves from catch wrestling, and puts it in your syllabus.
Hmm.
And Krav Maga also observes what are the kind of natural attacks that happen on the streets, what are the kind of scenarios people are getting into, and keeps improvising according to that. So it's very attuned to survival and self defense.
आई सी. सो इसमें और अगेन फिर क्राव मागा और जीत कुंदो में भी कोई फर्क है क्या दैट पे
Yeah,
ऐसा?
yeah, absolutely. Jeet Kune Do was created only by Bruce Lee,
हाँ.
and Krav Maga, and Jeet Kune and Krav Maga are similar in the sense that both of them believe that be like water, like there is no form.
हाँ, राइट. बी
It's
फॉर्म.
the eventual outcome that matters, which is survive,
राइट.
right?
राइट.
Stick to no one form, use whatever works. So
बिल्कुल.
Krav Maga is more of a mindset, okay? And same thing about Jeet Kune Do, but Jeet Kune Do is a little more formal. It has a lot of technical things around it because it's founded by Bruce Lee.
हाँ.
Okay, and it also has a lot of limitations because it is sort of so outdated now that applying it to modern day weapons and modern day situations is a little difficult because nobody has bothered like fully upgrading the syllabus or fully upgrading the skill in a way like what Krav Maga has done, because Krav Maga is even used today by the Israeli army, so they're constantly updating what is taught in the system. So if you're learning from somebody who's close to the Israeli source, you're probably getting a very good syllabus to learn out of,
हाँ.
right? Like how to use your mobile phone as a smashing device against someone's bridge of the nose,
बिल्कुल.
right? That thing will not be taught in Jeet Kune Do because Jeet Kune Do wasn't created at a time when mobile phones were used.
So you said Krav Maga is much more updated from the real world scenario as far as
Yeah, because it's constantly being used in real life scenarios by the Mossad, by the Israeli forces, and the syllabus is constantly updated. And this applies to every martial art. Like even if you're training in MMA,
हाँ.
okay, BJJ is a great example.
हाँ.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as is did not have all the kinds of techniques it has today.
हाँ.
Okay, it did not have the throws from judo. It did not have the moves from catch wrestling and wrestling. It used to be just pure grappling. Eventually, they started adding in stuff. Then you got a new skill sets of jiu-jitsu, which some people started calling American jiu-jitsu. Then there's new wave jiu-jitsu. The same techniques got more and more evolved. And if you don't keep updating yourself with what new is happening in your field, you start getting left behind.
Hmm.
And the same goes for self-defense. If you don't learn to deal with time-relevant threats,
Hmm.
you are getting left behind. If you only think of strike, punch, kick, and get out, you're probably getting left behind somewhere. And that is what I love about Krav Maga, that it's continuously upgraded and updated with what is relevant today.
सो जितनी भी ट्रेडिशनल मार्शल आर्ट्स हैं चाहे कराटे या फिर कराटे में डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स या ताइक्वांडो काली सिलात और ये सब जितने भी हैं ये सब लोग ट्रेडिशनली ही अभी भी कर रहे हैं या वहां पे भी कुछ अपग्रेडेशन हुई है
Yeah.
या बिकॉज ऑफ द
So
एक्सपोजर आज की डेट में जो ग्लोबल एक्सपोजर है मार्शल आर्ट्स का वो बहुत नेक्स्ट लेवल पे पहुंच रहा है और फिल्मों के अंदर भी जो हम देखते हैं सो लेट्स से देयर इज दिस एक्टर इंडोनेशियन एक्टर हु डज सिलात काली पर उसके भी एक्शंस और ये सब देख के लगता है कि इट इज एक्चुअली नॉट प्योरली दैट वो भी मिक्स है किसी चीज का सो ऐसा हुआ है क्या मतलब वो इन्फ्लुएंस पड़ा है ट्रेडिशनल मार्शल आर्ट्स पे
yeah, obviously there is a blend. There is a blend happening, and that's the difference between fighting and martial arts.
हम्म
Martial arts are more traditional because they are art. They are art form.
एब्सोल्युटली
And then what happens is when it starts getting used in real life, you have to eventually start adapting it
हम्म
to what is relevant today. And that is exactly what is happening. Like at one point of time, it was very acceptable to carry blades around, carry knives around.
हाँ
Now it's not.
हाँ बिल्कुल
How do you adapt that? You adapt the same movements with something that is more acceptable, which is like sticks or pens, like a blunt pen, a
हाँ
single bodied pen like this.
हाँ हाँ
It's a great stabbing weapon because it does not have a nib that will break. Can go in, it adapts all the same movements.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
So what you learn in Kali, Eskrima, and Silat can still be adapted modern day to use with a pen. And
हाँ
pen is a weapon, not a weapon. Pen is an item that can be used as a weapon everywhere.
राइट
So it's all about how you adapt it. And Krav
जस्ट
Maga is very efficient at doing that. So there are a lot of Krav Maga teachers around the world that also learn Kali, Eskrima, and Silat, and then adapt the 20% out of that, which is adaptable for modern day scenarios, and use it in their syllabus.
हाँ पर क्या कोई ऐसा भी है, मतलब लेट्स से जो ट्रेडिशनल आर्ट्स के अंदर बहुत रेवर्ड टीचर्स जो हैं, क्या वो इस बात को एक्नॉलेज कर रहे हैं अभी आज की डेट में, या फिर वो अभी भी इसी में है कि नहीं, दिस इज एनफ, दिस इज सफिशिएंट, या कुछ ऐसा है?
Uh, the one thing about good coaches in every field is they are always open to new learning.
हम्म।
Any coach who says he knows everything is an idiot,
हम्म।
and that is how it is. So the best coaches today are always learning and upgrading themselves, and that's a good thing. That should happen.
राइट, पुराने जमाने में मेरे ख्याल से ये एक ईगो का फैक्टर भी रहा होगा कि भाई
Yeah,
मेरी
a lot of the old karatekas, a lot
हाँ।
of the old karatekas refuse to open their minds,
हाँ।
and
हाँ,
that is their downfall. And
कि
in
मेरी
another 10 years, they will be washed out.
हाँ, मेरी आर्ट
Like
तेरी
I know some very
ज्यादा।
good karatekas who
हाँ।
evolved, changed their game, and have turned into like really good mixed martial artists today. Like there is Seth Rosario in MFN.
राइट, अब
Used to
वो
be a pure karateka, is today known as a submission expert,
हाँ।
and is one of the most well-rounded MMA fighters I know, and a great coach. Then there is his karate coach, Yashipalli,
राइट।
Yashi sir, if you
हाँ।
probably know him.
यस।
Yeah, pure karate background, but he saw that MMA is the sport that is new and improved and growing. He
हम्म।
got himself familiarized with it. Now runs an MMA school in Gurgaon and is a very influential factor in MMA in India. So the
हम्म।
good ones are always open to upgrading and learning. They are
सो
never closed-minded, and that's the good thing.
इवन इवन आई थिंक यूएफसी के अंदर भी लोटो मचीदा जो था वो भी आई थिंक कराटे का ही था, एंड नाउ ही इज डूइंग
Yep.
दैट, दैट्स प्रीटी गुड। इवन व्हेन आई सी these Kyokushin videos, Kyokushin also is a full contact sport and very brutal
Yeah.
times, बहुत जबरदस्त उसका भी
We have karate combat,
प्योर। हाँ,
which is a karate-based mixed martial arts sort of federation.
Absolutely. In fact, I was interviewing some other guy, पवन करके एक बंदा है, पवन गुप्ता, ही इज इनटू वुशु सैंडा। सो मेरे को लगता था कि वुशु अगेन इज अ स्पोर्ट विच इन्वॉल्व्स तलवार वलवार एंड ऑल दैट, पर उसने बताया, मैंने फिर उसके बाद देखा भी कि वुशु और सैंडा इज लाइक अ मिक्स मार्शल आर्ट अगेन, लाइक चाइनीज बॉक्सिंग, सबमिशन,
Mhm.
स्पाइकिंग, एवरीथिंग। तो मैंने पहली बार ही सुना था वुशु सैंडा के बारे में, बट इंटरेस्टिंग, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। सो मार्शल आर्ट इज अ वेरी डियर सब्जेक्ट टू यू एंड टू मी ऑल्सो, क्योंकि मेरा बैकग्राउंड बड़ा अलग सा ही, मैं बहुत क्लोज रहा हूँ, आई डिस्कस विद यू द अदर डे, एंड आई एम स्टिल मैं अभी तक नहीं भी शुरू कर पाया, बट ठीक, that's a different story. Now I come to the other aspect, that is content. You are into content, you write contents for different, you have written content for maybe ads, maybe films, you have done script writing also for movies, और आजकल जो कंटेंट है, कंटेंट इज द किंग, ये तो अब हम सबको पता चल गया, एवरीबडी, आई एम ट्राइंग टू बी पॉपुलर एंड फेमस एंड ऑल दैट, बट बट कंटेंट आज के टाइम में जिस तरीके से ऊपर आ रहा है, जिसमें से एक बहुत बड़ा जो पोर्शन है वो क्रिंज कंटेंट का भी है, बट इट इज गेटिंग मैसिव पॉपुलैरिटी ऑल अक्रॉस, और कुछ अच्छे लोग भी हैं जो डेफिनेटली फेमस हो रहे हैं। व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन द सिनेरियो ऑफ कंटेंट these days?
It is what it is. It is part of these times. It has its good, it has its bad, right? A lot of sexual content is very easily available now, and as the human brain is hardwired towards sugar, it is also hardwired towards sex. So that will sell and that will get a lot of popularity, and there's no two things you can do about it. The only
Hmm.
thing you can do is you govern what you follow. As simple as that.
So
Like on the World Wide Web, everything is available.
हाँ,
Question is, what do you want? What do you want to browse every day? So you
और
be select what you follow, what you look into, and that's it. That's what you can do. And if you are a brand, you be particular of the kind of content you put out. How
hmm,
much do you want to pander to the masses, and how much do you want to pander to an audience that actually gives a damn? That's the call that you will have to take. Like
hmm.
today, even with as little as 6,000 subscribers, I still do steady business. I am full in my slots. I have more work than I can handle. So yeah, as compared to some people with 1 million followers who are barely struggling to like fill up their roster. I'm like, because you're talking to the masses. I'm talking to the people that matter to me. That's the difference.
Right. So, is there anything, कोई particular advice जो कि if you want to give to fellow content creators, those who want to do well in fitness, क्योंकि fitness की फील्ड के अंदर बहुत अलग-अलग तरीके के चीजें हैं ऑलरेडी मार्केट स्पेस में, जहाँ पे जो फिटनेस की फील्ड से नहीं भी है, दो नॉट अर्निंग देयर ब्रेड एंड बटर थ्रू फिटनेस, वो भी आजकल फिटनेस के कंटेंट डाल के दे आर गेटिंग वेरी पॉपुलर, you know. Like there is
Yeah,
this
because it's a field now. It's a field. It's
हाँ
literally become a content bucket. कोई भी आके कूदो इसमें, खुला गंगा बह रहा है.
हाँ, सो क्या मतलब उन नए लोगों के लिए कोई भी एडवाइस हो सकती है जो फिटनेस की फील्ड में है और अच्छा कंटेंट बनाना चाहते हैं लेकिन ऑडियंस नहीं मिल रही, या उसके लिए क्या कोई पर्टिकुलर कोई फॉर्मूला है क्या उस चीज के, या
There
इट्स
is no particular formula.
जस्ट ट्रायल एंड
A
एरर?
lot of it is just a lot of it is just like Instagram. Okay, if
आई वाज
you put anything with doing an exercise, it will get a million views without you doing anything. चाहे form गलत हो, technique गलत हो, information गलत हो, कुछ भी. And then there is content which I think the way male content creators should look at making content is like think as a younger version of yourself.
या
Okay, rewind 10 years, rewind 15 years, maybe rewind 5 years, and create the kind of content that version of you would have wanted to watch
ओके,
or hoped had an access to,
पर डोंट यू थिंक कि उस हिसाब
and
से अगर
you
हम
do great content.
ओके, सो अगर अगर मैं ये बोलूं कि उस हिसाब से अगर हम लोग सोचें कि मुझे अपने 15 साल के वर्जन को कंटेंट दिखाना होता, पर आज के 15 साल के बंदे में और मेरे टाइम के 15 साल के बंदे में लगभग 20 साल का फर्क है, तो वहां पे कोई डिफरेंस नहीं होना चाहिए?
See, the technology available today will make you catch up to the trends, but the base, the soul of the content has to be the same. Like as a 25-year-old,
ठीक है.
I wanted to learn effective combat skills. I wanted to learn how to get strong.
ओके.
I wanted to learn the form and techniques of basic lifts.
हम्म.
I wanted to learn how to travel the country on the lowest budget possible,
हम्म.
right? And that's the kind of content I create today. And it's working for me.
सो अगर लेट्स से कि सोशल मीडिया का ही कोई सहारा लेता है, आई मीन, डू यू थिंक ये एडवाइजेबल है किसी के लिए अगर कोई स्टार्ट ऑफ कर रहा है और सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू ही चाहता है कि उसको बिजनेस मिले या लीड्स मिले, तो उसको कंटेंट अपने वैल्यूज को ताक पे रखने करने चाहिए, या फिर अगेन देयर हैज टू बी अ बैलेंस, वी नो इट, पर कभी कभी
Stay
सिचुएशन.
true to yourself. I can't say this anymore. Like it's the most important thing. Stay true to yourself.
हाँ.
I have seen a lot of people go down this road.
हम्म.
Decent business experts who got onto the content bandwagon,
हाँ.
became influencers, are
हम्म.
today known as influencers, making money, no doubt, but
हम्म.
have zero respect in the fitness field,
हम्म.
and nobody takes their fitness advice for real. And when
हाँ.
I speak to brands also, they don't want to partner with these guys because these guys are a joke in the actual community that spends,
हाँ.
right?
Okay.
So
You're talking about
by not staying true to themselves, they have created a joke out of themselves.
uh,
No matter what content you create good content, no problem, but don't stop being true to yourself.
hmm,
Focus
yes.
on your core values, keep that in place, and फिर जो content बनाना है बनाओ, not a problem. But if you start getting too slapstick, too sexualized, too over the top, too gimmicky, eventually you're going to land on your face.
हाँ,
From being an expert, you're going to dumb yourself down to being a joker, and then jokers are dime a dozen.
absolutely. वो जो I think you coined the term Instagram or maybe Instagram or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Can you,
that's pretty much Instagram all it is today.
so no, can you elaborate on these terms? What do you exactly mean by?
It's like this. No? A fitness trainer with 4 different qualifications puts out decent content. There are some 100, 200 views.
Hmm.
A girl with zero training puts out 1% of that content, but in 2% of those clothes, and there are like 10,000 views, 20,000 views, 1 million views,
धीरे
right?
धीरे साजना हौले हौले सा-
Like butt angle camera, cleavage angle camera, undressing shot.
Yes.
Like. Oh
Today,
wow, ma'am, so talented. And the comments are hilarious. Oh, ma'am, so inspirational. Yeah, inspirational. I just saw 36 double D's move at half range of motion in a squat, and you're saying, "Wow, ma'am, what inspiration."
and today I
क्या इंस्पायर हो रहा है तू?
हाँ हाँ पूरा एकदम शॉर्ट लेके टुडे आई ट्रेन ट्राइसेप्स सो
हाँ,
या सो यस
the top angle cleavage shot. Today I trained triceps. अबे triceps इधर है, इधर नहीं, right? But yeah, that is what is selling today.
राइट सो और मुझे मुझे ही लगता है कि विद दिस जनरेशन जेन जी वी कॉल इट जेन जी आई थिंक है ना 20 समथिंग ये लोग क्या इस ट्रेंड के अंदर ज्यादा इन आई मीन देयर इज अ पीयर प्रेशर ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट फॉर देम टू बी या फिर ये इन लोगों की डेप्थ खत्म हो चुकी है या शैलो हो चुके हैं व्हाट डू यू थिंक व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दैट
That's thinking like old people. Like every old generation will think that about the younger generation. Like, they have a lot of pros and they have a lot of cons. Their
हम्म
attention value has gone supremely down. Attention span,
हम्म
which I can absolutely identify it having ADHD. Like tak, your attention span switches. But then it's a good thing for them and a bad thing for them. It's a good thing for them that they can browse so many topics in a go
हम्म
and then choose what they want to focus on, right? Or they never choose to focus and get washed away. That's in their hands. It's like having a boon and a curse again. उसकी अच्छाई भी है, उसकी बुराई भी है, right? These people can multitask way more than our generation can, way more than one generation before us.
डू यू
One
थिंक
generation before us would be very focused. मैं अभी एक बुक पढ़ रहा हूँ, ये बुक खत्म करने के बाद मैं दूसरा बुक शुरू करूंगा. The current generation is like टक synopsis, audiobook, sample. Oh, video, audiobook. अच्छा, इतने सारे कर लिए, अभी मुझे ये रेलेवेंट लगता है. अच्छा, आई विल चूज टू रीड दिस बुक फुल्ली नाउ.
सो यस दैट्स गुड बिकॉज मैं भी काफी सारे जब अभी रिसेंटली मैं एक पोस्ट देख रहा था सोशल मीडिया पे जहाँ पे एक मार्केटिंग कंपनी ने बहुत बड़ा लगाया था कि मैनेजर्स आर फ्रस्ट्रेटेड विद जेंजी दे सिंपली कैन नॉट वर्क उसमें लिखा हुआ था कि फ्रस्ट्रेट हो चुके हैं वहां पे मेरे को दोनों एग्जाम्पल दिखते हैं ये वाला तो दिखता ही है जहाँ पे लगता है जेंजी दे कैन नॉट वर्क दे आर नॉट डिसिप्लिन दैट वे पर ये भी लगता है कि दे आर वेरी इंटेलिजेंट एंड मतलब दे डेफिनेटली डू मल्टीटास्किंग जो अभी बताया सो ये दोनों ही मेरे को तो दिखते ही हैं सामने मेरे घर में है भी सो मुझे सो दैट्स वेरी वेल सेड व्हाट यू जस्ट डिस्क्राइब्ड अभी अगेन मैं जब कंटेंट के बारे में सोचता हूँ एंड आई लुक्ड एट योर प्रोफाइल आल्सो सो उसमें फिटनेस फोटोग्राफी भी एक बहुत मेजरली उसके अंदर दिखता है हाउ इज इट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर जॉनर्स ऑफ फोटोग्राफी कैसे how will you
Different things you're focusing on. Like when you're shooting portfolios for models and glamour, you're keeping it very soft focus, soft lighting, everything is visible, little
Hmm.
misty, hazy. When you're shooting fitness, it's more cut, more sharp. The shadows and darkness and light play is much more stronger.
Ah,
The angles you use make the bodies look bigger, more muscular.
right.
Right? When you're shooting action, you want the flow to be seen. You want the grains that are bursting open to be seen.
Hmm.
And yeah, that is what differentiates fitness photography in general from
Hmm.
your typical glamour photography.
Hmm.
There are a lot of people who overlap glamour photography with fitness photography, and it ends up looking like soft porn, which sells a lot on Instagram. But then, yeah, some people call that fitness photography, and now I'm okay with it. Earlier, I used to have a grudge against it. I'm okay with it because at the end of the day, the paying customer chooses what they want. If this is
Ah,
what you want to look like, there you go. If this is what you want to look like, there you go. It's your choice. At the end
well,
of the day, what you're selling to them is a portrait of themselves, of how they best see themselves.
hmm. Very interesting.
And today I can do both. I shoot boudoir and I shoot fitness. And I'm equally skilled at both today. And that's good. I like that.
पर ये कैसे चूज किया फिटनेस फोटोग्राफी? डिड यू, आई मीन, क्योंकि इससे पहले
I was always good with the human figure, drawing, sketching, painting.
हम्म,
And when I got into K11 and started studying the human body, it became even easier because then I was actually working with the kind of bodies that I have sketched. So
हाँ,
transferring that to photography was pretty simple.
अच्छा अच्छा, जैसे हम लोग बचपन में वो बनाते थे, जैसे कॉमिक्स में दिखाते थे
And
नाग।
yeah, comic books have been a major influence on my life. And if you see my fitness photography work, a
हाँ
lot of it is very graphic novelist.
हाँ हाँ
Like
हाँ,
that is where a lot of my inspiration comes from. The poses for the kind of lighting, the burst of smoke behind, dust ahead, grime, broken glass, that kind of look. So it's a lot of it is inspired from graphic novels and comic books.
राइट, क्योंकि
And in a way, bodybuilding as itself is a very caricaturish comic book kind of world. You know, everything is larger than life,
हम्म,
bigger, bestial, veins popping, nerves out, muscles up there. So yeah, that sort of worked for me a lot.
जैसे वो पुरानी कॉमिक्स आती थी जिसमें आता था डोगा, सुपर कमांडो ध्रुव, नाग, सबकी अच्छी, इतनी
Large
अच्छी
comics.
थी। इट वाज अमेजिंग टू सी देयर फिजिक्स देन।
Yeah.
सो वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। सो ये जो ट्रांजिशन था, सो उससे पहले, फिटनेस फोटोग्राफी से पहले भी कोई फोटोग्राफी की थी, या फिर यू जस्ट डू फिटनेस
No,
फोटोग्राफी?
before that, I was just doing casual photography for fun. I never worked as a professional photographer
ठीक है,
before that.
ओके
And the first time I tried my hand at professional photography was directly fitness photography. And that sort of became my niche.
ओके ओके, वाओ, एंड यू आर स्टिल कंटिन्यूइंग विद दैट प्रोफेशनली?
Yeah, that still continues even today.
You elaborated on the aspect of photography where nudity is an element, that way, which you said boudoir is something which you already do. uh, इसमें आर्टिस्टिक विजन अगर किसी को समझनी हो, बिकॉज आर्टिस्टिक का मतलब ये होता है, वो तो आर्टिस्ट ही बता पाता है बेसिकली। जैसे कोई एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पेंट कर देता है, तो वो तो वही जानता है जिसने पेंट किया है। सो व्हेन इट कम्स टू यू, हाउ डू यू मेक इट आर्टिस्टिक दैट वे? कैसे, मतलब उसको डिस्टिंग्विश किया जा सकता है फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट
So
ऑफ व्यू?
the way I see it, if you look at a picture and it seems titillating or shot with the intent of sexually arousing you,
हम्म,
that's porn.
ओके,
If no matter how naked, it still looks artistic to you, and you're like, oh wow, this is beautiful.
राइट,
Like, oh, let me take my pants down and give myself a 2 minute happy ending. And that's art. Yeah, that's as plain, simple, and straight as I can get. Like, you can look at a body in two different ways with two different eyes completely. Right? Uh, हवस की भावना से नहीं देख पाओ और खूबसूरती की भावना से देख पाओ, then that's art.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
भावना
बिल्कुल,
से देखना, then that's porn. Not that porn is not an art, just not the art I want to indulge in. That's it.
राइट। सो ये जो लाइन थी, ब्यूटी लाइज इन द आईज ऑफ द बिहोल्डर, इसमें ऐसा कुछ है? दैट्स व्हाट यू
Of
ट्राइंग?
course. And that's why the photographer matters. Like 10 people have a camera. You give the same subject to 10 people to shoot, everybody will have a different perspective of the same subject. Everybody will come out with different photos of the same person.
राइट राइट,
Because a photographer is basically sharing their perspective of that person with the world through their photos. So it's only as beautiful as you can see from your eyes that you can make the world see. That's it.
फैंटास्टिक, यस, फैंटास्टिक। एंड अभी लास्ट में जस्ट एक समेशन के तौर पर, कि ये चार पांच चीजें हैं इन विच यू आर रियली गुड एट एंड यू आर डूइंग इट पैरेलली, इसमें से मेजरली योर इंक्लिनेशन, जैसा मुझे ऐसा लगता है, इज इट ऑन टुवर्ड्स मोर इनटू मार्शल आर्ट्स एंड फिटनेस, इज इट, और is it the other way around? I mean, marketing, advertising.
So no, what I share a lot on Instagram,
हाँ,
okay, or what the world sees more of me is the fitness and martial arts part. So that is what I share more often.
right,
Okay, because that is what I'm doing daily.
right.
When I'm making a film, it takes 15 days to a month to like make a film. Then
Hmm.
that goes out in that one segment. If I'm doing a art commission photo shoot, boudoir, that I never share with public. So even though that's taking up like 2 weeks of my time,
Hmm.
I do not share that. So
Okay.
people don't see that. If I'm doing Insta Reels and like content for brands, that goes on the brand pages. Then till the brand permits me to share it on my page, I
Hmm.
don't share it on my page. That's why people don't see it much.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those are in locked profiles that I can share with other brands, that this is what I'm doing for brands, this is what I can do for you. So Instagram is only what the world can see. It's like just because यहाँ पे दिखता नहीं है doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I
बिल्कुल
have other things I do which are not. I don't think Instagram is a great channel to sell them either.
बिल्कुल सही बात है. यस.
Instagram का पब्लिक तुमको 60 लाख 1 करोड़ का बजट नहीं दे रहा है एड फिल्म शूट करने.
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
Instagram का पब्लिक तुमको बोल रहा है 5,000 में 5 वीडियो कर दो ना प्लीज. And that's not my TG, so I don't bother being there
हाँ
about it.
हाँ.
It's
So
better having 3 sensible conversations with 3 sensible people
हाँ
regarding a certain topic
हाँ
than waste talking sensible shit to a million people and hoping some 3 sensible people listen to it.
हाँ हाँ. Precisely.
Yeah. So
मात्र.
use Instagram for what it is. It's an
हाँ.
entertainment tool with access, and that's it. That is not your primary revenue channel. At least not for me.
Not for
There are
you.
some people, like
इसके
a
लिए.
lot of girls who used to once would have been called bar girls, today are successful OnlyFans models and Instagram influencers. I love it. Yeah, I love it that they have that much freedom. That today they can call themselves influencers or models with respect, as compared to एक जमाने में ये बार गर्ल्स है, ये यहाँ पे खुली में रहती है.
हाँ 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 हाँ.
It's something that always told, they never had the respect for it. At least now they have a modicum of respect calling themselves models. ठीक है यार, whatever pays their bills, who are you to judge them?
बिल्कुल.
But yeah, they
Yeah.
made a lot of money. Those people are making the. I think those people are the ones making the most money out of Instagram today.
हाँ मैं देख रहा था ऐसा कुछ वीडियो. ओनली फैंस इज लाइक क्रिएटिंग a hell lot of money for.
Like one fighter, one MMA fighter, female MMA fighter, actually made more money in 1 week on OnlyFans than she did in her entire career as a MMA fighter.
वाह.
And that is the truth. Sex sells, and if they are willing to go down that road and sell it, so be it. Who are we to judge them, right? They are not coming from privileged families. They are coming from literally hand to mouth families,
Yes.
right? They have struggled. They are living. They are just happy to have some money to themselves. And if there is a way they are willing to go through, they know the consequences.
Hmm.
And if they're going to put up with that consequences, who are you to judge them? ठीक है, रहने दो यार. तुमको कौन बोल रहा है जाके उससे शादी करो, या जाके उसको अडॉप्ट करो, या जाके उसके साथ कुछ भी करो, right? You don't take it, partake it. Don't judge them. Leave them alone. That's it.
Don't be on OnlyFans in that case.
Yeah, yeah,
OnlyFans पे
exactly.
बोल भी रहे हो
Like you want to be on OnlyFans also, and then you want to judge people on OnlyFans also. Like shabash, beta.
ऐसे छिक, 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 छिक. आपकी तरफ
Exactly.
3 उंगली आपकी तरफ है. Yeah. I mean that's very very nice.
It's like somebody saying, "Oh, मैंने इसको OnlyFans पे देखा है." Like तू OnlyFans पे कर क्या रहा?
कर रहा था.
It's
Precise.
because of people like you that OnlyFans is running, right?
हाँ. Absolutely. और लास्ट में जाते जाते any particular advice you would like to give to the new Gen Z fitness professionals who want to be on social media, be like you have already mentioned this कि आपको अपने आप से सच्चा रहना सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है. ओके. उसके अलावा कोई और प्रैक्टिकल चीज, बिकॉज ये तो चलो बहुत जज्बाती चीज हो गई, कोई समझेगा कोई नहीं भी समझेगा, कोई प्रैक्टिकल चीज जो कि वो लोग कर सकते हैं टू आउटशाइन बेसिकली.
Create good content. Create sensible content.
डू यू रिकमेंड
Network.
any particular page which they can follow?
You know the easiest hack to social media management today is, if you are an individual who's
Ah.
looking to put out content,
Hmm.
write down 10 people in
Ah.
your field whose content you absolutely love.
Right.
See what they create.
Ah.
You'll start seeing a pattern of content buckets. There is conversation, there is quote, there is video, there is humor, there's this, there's that. Create your own buckets in a similar order and just put that out. Create that content, put that out.
Hmm.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to be absolutely 100% original with your content.
Absolutely, yes.
The wheel has already been invented. Just use it,
Yeah,
right?
being
Even their content, put it in your own words and put it out. Not a problem. That is
yeah,
not plagiarism.
absolutely.
Plagiarism, when you pick word to word that and put it out, which a lot of people are doing and still getting away with it, right? So you keep
That
your heart pure, you keep your purpose pure, and put out good content, and
that
hope your content helps somebody.
big motivational speakers, huh?
Yeah, Jay Shetty, Chapu number one. After the whole case happened and he got caught, he started putting like credits at the base of the quotes he's stealing.
हाँ,
Yeah.
चलो
So
ये भी
yeah, mega people have done that shit and gotten away with it. Like, it's not a problem if you do the same. Just you be the honest version and put out credits of whom you have been inspired by for that piece of content. And actually, that will get you a lot more respect, right?
हाँ,
Forget respect. That might also get you connected to those people that inspire you,
बिल्कुल.
right? Like, I used to share a bunch of content from an athlete I actually admired.
Hmm.
And one day I got a DM from that athlete. I was like, oh, holy wow, nice. So yeah, it got me connected because I was honest about what I was sharing was inspired by that athlete and put
Yeah,
out by that athlete. So yeah, being genuine may not always help,
हाँ.
but probability of it actually being good for you and helping you is pretty high. So just yeah, be genuine, be real, and be out there.
Wise words have been much more truer than this. क्योंकि आजकल के टाइम में with so much of content around, जहाँ पे मैं देखता हूँ 15 दिन पहले अगर किसी की 1 million की फॉलोइंग है और आज 15 दिन बाद 3 million, तो मुझे लगता है दिस इज गोइंग क्रेजी एट टाइम्स. और अच्छा भी है फॉर देम, इट्स वर्किंग रियली नाइस. But thank you so much for your time. It was lovely talking to you as always.
It was
And
lovely talking to you.
right,
Yep, great talking to you, Nishan. Take care.
yeah.
Cheers.
So this was our conversation with Pushkaraj Shirke, and it was absolutely a pleasure. क्योंकि पुष्कराज जिस तरीके से आप लोगों ने देखा ही कि ही इज अपना दिल खोल के सामने रखने वाला व्यक्ति है, इंसान है. और इनसे बात करना हमेशा ही बहुत अच्छा और बहुत नॉलेजेबल सेशन रहता है इनके साथ. और हम लोग इनके साथ दोबारा एक सेशन करेंगे. और हम लोगों को आप कमेंट में लिख के बता सकते हैं, डीएम करके बता सकते हैं कि आपको और किस टॉपिक पे बात करनी है और किस टॉपिक के बारे में जानना है. सो टिल दैट टाइम, स्टे फिट, स्टे कनेक्टेड.